We at Design Packs have decided to make a tool to make adding custom fonts to Shopify a lot easier than it is right now. We're going to be leveraging Shopify's file system in order to add custom fonts. So the fonts are already built into your shop, and we're just giving you a tool that will allow you to customize them for the front end. So the first thing you want to do is go to your shop's file system. You can find it under Content and Files. So you can either click here to upload fonts, but you may also already have the fonts uploaded to your file system. So the easiest way to find them, I find, is that if you just go to File Type and then click Other, you'll have other types of files, but they'll mostly be fonts. So I'm going to choose Mark Pro Book. So you just copy it there. It'll say link copied. Now we can go to the font styler. Here you want to enter the name of the font, but not include the suffix of it, and probably just the generic name if you're going to be adding multiple weights of a font, which we've built in for. So for example, here the Serif Pro Regular would just be Serif Pro. Now we're pulling Mark Pro, so I'm just going to call it Mark Pro. And you can see here that we already have a related font style, and this says that the style is none and the weight is 200. So this font will fall under the Mark Pro, and so we'll add here, and this is Mark Pro Book. So we're going to add a font weight of 600. You don't necessarily need to add the weight, but if you're going to have multiple fonts, you do to be able to differentiate between the font weights, and it's probably a good idea in general just to have more control over the font styling. So we click Save here, and now you can see that Mark Pro under here has two. It has the font weight of 200 and the font weight of 600, and you can see what the fonts look like here too. So this is the font, and you can see we have a few other fonts here that have already been added, and we can also delete them. Now we're always going to ask you if you want to be sure. Once we've added the font library and we have the fonts that we want included, we can then go down and start setting font attributes. And so all of the font attributes are turned off immediately. This is to allow you to just add the font attributes you want, and anything else will just cascade from what is styled already in the theme. So we can turn on this and we can set the heading to Rondel, and if we look up here, the font weight's 400, so we can just set the font weight to 400. I'm not going to add the styling, and I'm not going to add the font size, so the font size will take whatever size it's already set to in the theme. Otherwise, if we set yes, it will override the font size everywhere in the theme. I am going to set the line height, and I'm setting the letter spacing to give it a little bit more spacing. Now small headings, we're going to set it to Mark Pro, and you can see that Mark Pro only shows up once here, but if I change the font weight, then that's where the weight changes. I think I'm going to leave the letter spacing off. And then the body text, we're going to set it to this. We're going to set the font size, the letter spacing, and the line height. So now you can see that you have a lot of control over the details of the font that we're setting. And then once we get here, we're going to hit Generate Code, and we're going to get down here, and here's all the code that you need. And we've also set the code to overtake the font styling specifically for the Dawn theme. Okay, here we can copy the code. And we go into the Design Packs app and we go to Custom CSS, and we can copy this in here. Make sure that we're looking at the correct theme, in this case, the updated copy of Dawn. Save this. And now if we go here, you can see how the font changed, and now we have the custom fonts set up. And also, I left this Dawn specific section in just so we can see that it also is updating the Dawn section.